Wagwan, we're in Chinatown, Bangkok.
Fucking Chinatown, baby. Oh, thank you.
Oh,
That's chicken? That's chicken? I think that's chicken. Looks like chicken.
what do you guys reckon? Is it chicken?
But yeah, what are we doing here?
We're gonna film another episode because we got to get better at articulating our thoughts.
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Thank you. Chicken. Pork.
But yeah, well, we're gonna do one of these every day.
Yeah, the plan's to do one every day, like 20-minute little chat.
Yup. We probably picked the busiest place in Bangkok to try and record it.
I reckon.
And that was gonna be this hard, but
Hopefully you guys can hear us and the audio is not too chopped.
Alright, this
Oh,
place is
there's actually so much going on. Eh?
this place is insane, bro.
Alright, anyway, pretty much what we're going to talk to you about today is environment and some of the things we found over the last few years.
What better place to do it, actually?
The busiest fucking place ever.
Alright, sweet. We have ChatGPT this time because if you're not using AI in 2025, you're cooked anyway, so we may as well give in and ask ChatGPT to give us some questions. Do you want to jump straight in?
Yeah, we'll jump in.
Get this over and done with.
Yeah.
Put his cameras away in the busiest place in the world. Alright, sweet. How has changing your physical environment, city, workplace, home, setup, etc., affected your productivity and mindset?
Well, right now I can't focus at all, so there's a guy walking past me with a fucking megaphone and popcorn tied to his hip. What was the question?
How has changing your physical environment, city, workplace, home, setup, etc., affected your productivity and mindset?
I think it's massive. For me anyway, in the last few years, I found that my environment has a big impact on the work that I do and how well I do the work. I've struggled with it probably in the last 2 years pretty heavily. I didn't realise how much of an impact the environment had until I started to do a bit more travelling and experiencing different places. So yeah, I think it's got a massive impact, and I think that your workspace, not only your physical space, but the mental space that you hold for yourself and the people you surround yourself with as well, that's all part of your environment. So I think it's probably one of the most important factors when it comes to being successful, making positive motion, direction in whatever it is you're chasing.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure everyone's heard the saying, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with, and it couldn't be any more. You can't hit the nail on the head any more than that, right? Like, even for example here, I've never even picked up a camera. I've always thought about it, never even picked up a camera before, and try to actually work on my personal brand. But because I'm around you and around other people that we're meeting up with that do have a personal brand, like, it's inevitable that it's going to happen, right?
100%.
But in terms of me, like, how changing my environment has helped me with product and mindset. Hungry? Oh yeah, hold on a sec.
John.
This place, bro. But yeah, for me, changing my productivity and my mindset, I noticed it a lot when I'd be in these states or these phases, I should say, of wanting to build my business, no matter what it was. Like, even when I was doing drop shipping, when I was doing like affiliate marketing, that kind of stuff. As soon as I would go away on a deployment or anything like that, like, all that out the window. And like, not to say that the people that I was working with are like bad people or anything. Like, they're great people. I love everyone I work with, but they just have different goals and there's a different mission in mind. And when you're surrounded by that, you don't really have especially when you're stuck on a submarine for however long on end, you don't have the option to. Well, I guess you do, but you're always going to get sucked into that way of thinking. Like if you're surrounded by X amount of people doing that particular thing, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard for you to stray away from that being the norm. If that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Like you said, like
so in terms of like productivity and stuff, like you have to surround yourself with people that are going to take you to the next level. Whether that means not necessarily dropping your friends that you have now, but maybe transitioning to hanging around with different people and changing your circle. Maybe it means moving away from your hometown. Like for me, I'm moving to Bangkok with the goal to build my business, scale my business, because I want to be around people that have done it before me and people that are doing it with me, instead of being back in Perth where not many people are working on their own businesses.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? I think something to note here is that certain environments actually hold energy as well. So if you're in a place that you've maybe experienced something didn't work out, or maybe you didn't have as much motion as you thought you might have, and you try to do work from that space, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to make any progress. Whereas if you change that environment and you try to do the same thing, you might have a different outcome. And I think that's why it's so important, and something that I'm focusing on now a lot more is paying attention to where I base myself, especially when it comes to work. Because this is actually probably the worst place to talk about environment. There's so much happening.
It's not a vlog, bro. It's a podcast. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, so basically what I was saying is that certain places hold energy. Thank you so much.
Move that. Coconut.
We're gonna have to clip this out.
This place holds a lot of energy, that's for sure.
Yeah, this place does have a lot of energy.
But no, obviously, like when I move to Bangkok, I want to go to a place like this every day because it's a bit too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I've found is certain places do hold certain energies, and some places have more powerful energy, and other places have more diminishing energy. And for me, the last 2 years, especially, I've been working in a place that's felt quite stagnant and not much has been happening. And that's nothing to say, not to say that Perth is a bad place to be in, but I do think that once you start to change and you put yourself in a different position, you can start to feel more expansive, you open your mind a lot more. And I really think that, changing your environment in some situations can be the key to changing your life.
100%. All right, cool. I think we answered that. Next one. It's going to be a real short one because have you ever outgrown your environment, and what were the signs it was time for a change? Yes, I've outgrown my environment. That's why I'm moving to Bangkok. The signs I needed to change was that no one else was doing the things that I was doing. And in order for me to be around people that are doing the things that I was doing, I had to move to a different city. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it, I think. You'll notice yourself like feeling like your home isn't your home anymore. Like maybe, I'd say you don't fit in, but you look around, you're like, what am I doing here kind of thing. That's when you know you've outgrown your environment.
Yeah, same for me. I feel like I'm probably outgrowing my environment regularly. Like I'd say every 6 to 12 months, I probably outgrow my environment.
Yeah, and when you get comfortable, it's time for a change, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to, well, maybe do, but if you're making money online.
No, it doesn't have to be extreme.
No. Yeah, even if it's to a different city or a different state or whatever. But if you have the ability to make the money online, smooth.
Yeah.
Just pack up and find a new environment, something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit scared, and utilize them feelings to your advantage.
Yeah. So to answer the question, in my case, I've definitely outgrown my environment on numerous occasions, and the way that I've realized that I've outgrown it is usually when I feel stuck, I feel stagnant, I feel like I'm in a repetitive cycle and I'm not achieving anything. That's the signs for me that, okay, something's got to change, something's got to shift here. And it could be as small as rearranging your home office setup, or as big as moving to a different city or a new apartment or whatever it is in your situation. I think that's when you know that if you're feeling a certain negative energy, it's probably time to change something.
What environments have you found to be the most creatively stimulating for building offers or solving big problems?
Yeah, I'm gonna go woo-woo on this one. I'm gonna go a bit spiritual. The reason I'm gonna do that is because I had a conversation with someone last week in Bali, and they introduced me to the concept of ley lines. And essentially, ley lines are these lines that cross through the planet, the Earth, and certain places hold more energy. So this goes like way back to ancient times as well. So when you think about places like the pyramids, they cross these ley lines, and the reason for that is because there's a certain level of energy held in these places. So I think for me, where I've felt the most energy is specifically Indonesia, Bali. The reason for that is because apparently, from what I've heard, there is 6 ley lines that cross through Indonesia, specifically Ubud as well. And every time I go there, my mind expands massively, and I notice that my body starts to feel it way before my mind even feels it. And so went a bit woo-woo on that one, but if you're interested, then look into ley lines. I'm still learning about it. I had a conversation with someone about it last week, and I brought up the idea of ley lines to a few different people in my nearest and dearest circle since then, so definitely something worth looking into.
Yeah. Me creatively, I'm not a very creative person, to be honest, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's what I'm trying to work on at the moment. But places like this, with the flashing lights and everything like that, big cities definitely bring it out of me. It makes me want to document my life more, because I feel like it's more exciting when it's not going to be when I live here. Like, I'm going to be doing the same thing, work, train, everything like that. But yeah, I think for me, when I feel most creative at home, when I'm not traveling, is when I'm actually just talking to people through like mentorship calls, networking with people online and stuff like that. Like, that opens up so many ideas and opens up so many doors for me with my creativity. And that is literally a different environment. Like, you're not interacting with the same people you would every single day.
I think that's such an important point. Like, people are environments too, and I think it's important to note that you're not just who you are, you're who you are around. And that's something that you've got to pay close attention to, because if you want to be a person that wins and succeeds, you've got to be around people that are winning and succeeding. If you're trying to accomplish a certain goal, then you need to be around people that are trying to accomplish a similar goal on the same path. And vice versa, it goes both ways. If you surround yourself with people that aren't doing great things, or they're stuck in a cycle themselves, you're ultimately going to feel like you're stuck in that same cycle, and it goes both ways. So you've got to pay really close attention to who you are around, because I'll say it again, you're not just who you are, you're who you are around.
100%. Bro, this is spicy. I'm sweating here, right?
Yeah, same.
Alright, next question. Have you ever had to distance yourself from certain people or communities to level up? And what was that like?
Yeah, 100%. I think like me and you both know firsthand. We went to the same school. Ellis was a year above me, but when we look at the people that we spend time with now and the people that we spent time with in school, not to say that these are, bad people to be around, they're just on a different path to us. And I think that there comes a point where we spoke about this in the last podcast episode we did as well, where you've got to sacrifice certain things. And I've made the point that for me to take the next breath, I've got to give up the breath that I'm taking now. And I think it comes back to, for you to take the next step in your life, sometimes you've got to cut off certain things. That might be people, that might be places, it might be certain thought beliefs, etc. But you've got to cut something, sacrifice something to be able to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. For me, like, school friends and everything like that, I kind of noticed myself hanging out with them less when I did join the Navy. So I guess I felt unlucky at the time that I was missing out on stuff, but it made it easier now when I'm transitioning to this point in my life. But yeah, it is hard, man. It's hard, like, not speaking to the people you used to speak to, and just hanging out with different people, and you know that they're seeing you hang out with different people. But it's necessary evil at the end of the day. Like, it's got to happen. If you want to, like, it comes back to it all again. You've got to be around the people that are doing the same things, if not better things than you, to level up. And it's going to have to happen eventually. You may as well have it happen now.
Yeah.
Unless you're not really about this. Unless you're not really going to go all in, and you just want to make other people happy and not live for yourself. Then stay around the people that you need to stay around to keep yourself comfortable. But if you want to live the best life for you, and you want to have all the experiences you've always dreamed about having, then it's going to have to happen eventually. So you may as well just rip the Band-Aid off and do it now.
Yeah, and I think, like, everyone would have felt this feeling before. And you might, you could spend an hour with someone and leave that meeting with that person, or that, that company with that person, and feel completely drained, flat, like you've got no energy. And then you might spend the same amount of time with a different person, but after that you'll leave feeling energized, alive, expansive. And I think that's when you start to realize certain people and certain environments benefit you a lot more than other things. And you've got to take mental notes of those things and start to pay close attention and really just double down on what works and start to reduce the things that are making you feel a certain negative energy. And lean into the things that bring you positive energy and
You'll find if you start tapering things off, you'll notice a difference, and you'll just want to double down on that. The feeling of liberation, we should say, will become addictive.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And you'll be able to.
You'll notice it because, like I said, you'll leave someone or somewhere feeling like you have so much energy that you want to release, and the second you feel that, you're going to want to do that again. And you're going to just keep going back to that thing. You want to create a positive feedback loop, and if that's the case, then by all means, keep doing that. Keep seeing that person, keep spending time in that place. If it makes you feel good, do more of it.
Yup. I'm fucking dripping in sweat over here. Alright, last two questions. What would you say to someone who feels stuck, like their current environment is stunting their growth, but they can't move just yet?
Yeah, good question. I actually had a conversation with one of my closest friends today. They're feeling like this now, and the advice I gave to them is, okay, so you can't make the change right now, but you can start to make the things that are going to lead to that change happen. So think logically, if you're in a situation where you can't change the thing right now, what can you do today that's going to take you towards that place, one step closer? What things can you start to implement? How can you start to think? How can you start to feel to really implement what's going to benefit you in 2 or 3 months' time when you can make that change? You've got to change internally now and start doing the small things so that in 2-3 months' time when you make it happen, you're that person, you're ready to be that person, and you've grown into that person that's trying to make that change.
Facts, bro.
Yeah.
Facts. But nah, yeah, that's it. Like, if you're stuck and you can't move just yet, start working towards it. Take baby steps. Get 1% better every single day. Put in as much work as you physically can, mentally can, every single day to get to that goal. And before you know it, like, time will catch up with you and you'll be moving to Bangkok.
Literally.
Doing podcasts in Chinatown.
Yeah.
But no, like, whether there be anything, like, the first thing I can say to people is learn a skill. Learn a skill that will get you paid no matter where you are in the world. And if you feel stuck right now, I'm sure by the time you learn that skill and you become confident enough in that skill to actually start making an income from it, you won't feel stuck anymore. It'll open up a whole new world of possibilities. It'll open up your eyes to show you what's really possible. And all them doubts you had at the start, and that feeling of confusion, the feeling of like not knowing where you're going to be in the next 6 months to a year, the lack of clarity, you won't even remember.
Yeah. To finish that question, what I'll say is, 1, be logical, make a plan, figure out how you're going to get out of the place you're in and to the place you're going. And 2, and this is probably the most important thing, is understand that you can't change everything. You can never change everything, but you can always change something. And if you can change something, you're on the pathway to getting to the place you want to be. So make a change.
All right, last question. How long have we been recording for? 22 minutes. Oh, we said 20. All right. If you go back 3 years, what environment change would you have made sooner and why?
3 years. 3 years. So I'm 23 now. I was 20 then. Yeah, so my situation 3 years ago, I was actually going through a massive change at the time. I had a business that failed. I had 2 employees I had to let go of. I had a lease I just signed that I could not afford. I was in an apartment that I was paying for that I could not afford. And I had to make a massive change and completely change my environment. And I held on to that limiting belief beyond that point for the longest time. So going back now, what I would say to myself then is, don't let this moment define who you're going to be for the next 3 or 4 years. Take this as a lesson. Understand that life is trying to teach you something. It's not trying to take something away from you. And use these things to become a better person. Because it's taken me 3 years to figure out that's the fact. Whereas if I had me now to tell me that then, I would probably be a lot further ahead, but that's not my timeline, and I understand that, and I'm accepting of that fact. But yeah, that's the advice I'd give to myself then.
If I go back 3 years, that's when I all started this whole online thing. I didn't have any dreams of moving from Perth, but if I could tell myself from 3 years ago, I'd tell them to start now, like right now, because it's going to be a long road. Actually, I was probably about 3 years ago I started looking into online business, but I would still tell them to start. It's been a long road. It's going to be a long road, and you need to get around the right people as quickly as humanly possible.
Yep, 100%.
I would have probably looked at leaving the Navy around then, and done what I could with the savings I had at the time, because I was only 21, 20. And I would have, like I said in the last video, I would have told myself to assess the risks, find out what the pros, what the cons were, because at the end of the day, there wasn't that many cons. I was 20 years old. If worse comes to worse, I could have just moved back to my parents. But the time I would have had to put into businesses, instead of going away on deployments, instead of doing all the stuff in the Navy, it would have fast-tracked my progress at least 2 times, 3 times. That's inevitable. So, yeah, I would have told myself the Navy isn't everything. There are other options out there, and you should definitely explore them, because one day something's going to work and you're going to be living a life you never dreamed of.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, again, coming back to a conversation I had with someone today, I think the best time to start anything was yesterday, the second best time was today. So the quicker you can move, the quicker you can make changes, the quicker you can turn your life around if that's what you're trying to do. So I think, yeah, that's great advice.
Bev, we done?
Any final words of wisdom? Environment, what have you got to say? Leave the people with a quote.
Oh, I don't have no quotes, bro. I should probably start looking into quotes, though. They actually make you sound a lot smarter. I'm dumb as fuck. What can I say? Environment. Don't be a slave to it. Don't be a slave to your environment. If you have even the slightest ambition or the slightest urge to change your environment, double down on it. Find out where that urge came from and how you can make that a reality. Whether that be learning a skill, whether that be, I don't know, pickpocketing people on the streets of Bangkok, whatever it is. No, don't. It's disclaimer, by the way. That's all. It's a joke. Everything we say on this thing is a joke.
So everything we just said in the last half an hour is straight facts, but that was a joke.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, that's all I can say. Learn a skill, change your environment. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah, cool. I will leave it on chase a feeling. You know, I think a lot of the time people get caught up in what their dream life looks like. Stop thinking about what it looks like, start thinking about what it feels like, and I think your results will start to change quickly, because if you can chase the feeling rather than the outcome, you'll be able to understand the feeling a lot sooner than the end result. So chase the feeling.
Yeah, never chase an outcome. Chase inputs. Inputs will give you outputs. Outputs will help you live the life you want. God damn.
Yeah. Do more of what feels good, less of what feels bad. Surround yourself with the right people.
Actually, you gotta do some things that feel bad.
Yeah, you gotta do some things that feel bad, but just do less of them. When they feel bad and you recognize that they feel bad,
but you don't want to do is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you gotta do certain things you don't want to do, 100%. Yeah, I think that's a full. You could go deep on that topic.
You definitely could, and we're not gonna do that now because I'm sweating my balls off.
We finished that.
I want to get a mango juice or something.
Yeah, I need some watermelon.
All
right. Thanks for listening to us and the rest of Chinatown in Bangkok.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. At Danny O'Shea, at Ellis Deacon _. He's actually 6 foot, by the way.
Yeah, that story got me today. Yeah. All right, sign it off.
Sign off. Right, peace out. Love you. Bye.